A very good morning, students. In our previous session, you completed chemical bonding. Now we are going to initiate a new chapter, that is gaseous state. Gaseous state is one of the most rated chapter which is going to have or which is going to span mostly all concepts of physical chemistry. It is the most important chapter which you are expected to master in order to understand the concept of chemical equilibrium, the concept of ionic equilibrium, and thermodynamics. It is very much related to or integrated with most of the chapters in physical chemistry, even stoichiometry also. Well, so let us move on to the first slide. So we are going to learn about the gaseous state. You all aware the matter is composed of, or atoms are composed of, matter is composed of atoms basically. Well, and this matter basically exists in different phases. It may be a solid phase or a liquid phase or a gaseous phase, and it has some properties. When you want to measure a solid and you want to mix to produce some output, naturally it involves a measurement. So the measurement, once you measure, and definitely you should know the properties of the constituent elements. So why properties are very important? If you know the properties, then you'll get an understanding how much heat you can supply or how much heat you can remove, and how much volume you can basically give the inputs and all for the reactor or for the reaction to happen. Agreed? Yeah. So basically you all aware, so matter exists in three states. What are the three states? You all aware: solid, liquid, and gas. So, and you know very well the constituent particles are nothing but atoms in all the cases. Now, basically if you observe, what is the fundamental difference between a solid and a gas? If you observe here, the atoms are ordered. The atoms are in order. But if you see the gaseous state, naturally there is a disorder. There is a disorder. Agreed? So the arrangement of atoms are in orderly manner in solids, whereas there is a disorder. Naturally, its properties also varies. So very, very important. So why you have to have an understanding about the properties of different states of matter. In the first year you have gaseous state, in the second year you have solid state, well, and also liquid state, that is solutions chapter. Well, you all aware these particles, these are made up of atoms. These particles have different kinetic energies, different speeds. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. So it is dependent on velocity. Its velocity changes. Gases diffuses at a very higher pace. For example, if you have a perfume, you spray on your shirt, on your fabric, any fabric, what happens naturally? So naturally the perfume, it reaches the other corner of the room in no time. So that's what is there is a property called diffusion. What is it? Diffusion. So, but if you take the solids, so it is not having that property of diffusion. It stays wherever you keep the solid, it stays there forever unless you move. And if you see the liquids have a different property to flow, property of flow, and gases have a diffusion. And gases you can compress, and liquids you can compress to some extent, and solids are incompressible. So if you see, so there is a need basically to understand the properties of the gases, because you are going to use all these things in the chemical reaction and you are expected to know the properties. Well, so let us have a full length understanding of so the differences between different states of matter. Well, so let us see the first one, mass. Students, you are aware, if you take a balloon, the balloon is filled with a gas. It may be a H2 or a helium or anything else. And naturally, the balloon has a light weight. It has a light weight. Now, if you observe, the mass, in all cases, they have a definite mass. In all cases, they have a definite mass. Similarly, shape is considered. Solids, if you take, there are many shapes. You will study in solid state chemistry. It has a FCC structure, face centered cubic lattice, simple cubic structure, body centered cubic lattice, hexagonal structure. It has a monoclinic structure, triclinic structure, rhombohedral structure, and so on. Try to understand. So solids have different shapes. If you see the gases, it basically acquires the shape of the container. So whatever container you give, so the gas takes that shape. So, and similarly, liquids also. For example, take a polythene, and if you add some liquid, what happens? So the liquid takes the shape of the polythene. Or if you take a rigid vessel, you have taken a flexible polythene, and now you take a rigid vessel and it takes the shape of the container. That is all about the shape. And definitely, and volume both solids and liquids have definite volume, but gases have indefinite volume. You all aware. And compressibility, I convey to you highly compressible. Which one? Gases. And solids are not feasible, and liquids are somewhat compressible, somewhat, not much. And and it's fluidity. So property to flow. It is not feasible for solids, and liquids and gases can flow. Similarly, rigidity is considered, so they are highly flexible gases, but whereas you can see some of the properties I would like to highlight here. Some of the properties will highlight so that you can see the basic differences, and which I am going to highlight in the next slide. So compressibility, one is compressibility, agreed. And now next is they are not rigid, okay, they are indefinite shape, they are different, right? And it has a slow diffusion and it has a very fast diffusion, agreed or not? And space between the particles, they are less closely packed and they are highly packed, so it gives a regular structure. And intermolecular forces are very weak here. So in gases, if you take, for example, if you take here in gases, if you take, so these are the particles. Naturally, intermolecular forces are negligible. Intermolecular forces are negligible in the case of gases. Students, if you take a solids, these are the solid. This is a solid, for example. It's a solid crystal, and naturally there exists some kind of intermolecular forces. So here there exists some kind of intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces exists. Okay, it may be anything else. So this is what in the case of solids, and also similarly, so here also there exists some kind of forces. In the liquids also intermolecular forces operates. In the liquids also you find here intermolecular forces exists. So this is the basic difference between different states of matter, that is solids, gases and liquids. Let us move on to the next slide. So let us study the basic differences in the condensed format. So in the condensed format, if you see expansion, for example, if you take a balloon, very simple example, balloon is not a non-rigid system. Yeah. If you take a vessel, it cannot expand. If you take, for example, if you take a cylinder, so for example, if you take here a balloon and a cylinder, this is a balloon, and here you take a cylinder here. You take a cylinder. Take a cylinder. And this is a rigid system, and this is a non-rigid system. And now here there is a chance of expansion. For example, if you take here a piston, if you take here, what happens here? If there is a gas inside, there is a gas. Naturally, it can expand. It can expand. This may come here. To agree or not? So this volume is V, dV, for example. There is a displacement. There is a displacement. So expansion is visible. So that means volume may increase or decrease. So what happens in the expansions? Naturally, volume may increase or volume may decrease. So this expansion property, you don't find in solids. Of course, you find, but it's not. It's a different kind of expansion. Yeah, fluidity. And naturally property to flow, it is there already. And low density, you can see if you see the cylinder, and cylinder weight is more and gas weight is very less. Yeah, so generally gases are low dense. Simple balloons and all low dense, simple example. Similarly, compressibility, and you can compress the gas because this compressibility principle is used. Where you use this compressibility principle? Refrigeration. Air conditioning. How, students? So you know very well. For example, this room is basically having air conditioning. So what this air conditioning system does is, it takes the heat, the gas gets expand, it throws the heat out. When it throws the heat out, again it gets compressed. Again it takes the heat and the gas will expand and throws the heat out. Again it will get compressed. So it is a expansion and compression. Similarly, students, if you take your 2-stroke or a 3-stroke bike, what happens? The piston down or back and forth. Why? Because it is giving some combustion, and the combustion is giving some movement and pushing. So I hope you understood the 3-stroke engine, 4-stroke engine, and so on. So I hope you are very clear about this topic. That is, next is diffusion and effusion. Students, have a look. So what is the meaning of diffusion and effusion? What is the difference? Both are same. Diffusion and effusion. Students, try to understand the principal differences between solids, liquids and gases. One is compressibility, the other one is diffusion. So I already conveyed one simple example. For example, there is a rose garden. So the fragrance will pervade almost half kilometer. Why? Because gases are diffused. I have given just an example, perfume. If you just spray here, it goes to the other corner of the room. Yeah. So that's what is the gases will basically, it will diffuse. Agreed or not? Yeah. Now what is effusion? Effusion means, so it has to go through a small hole. This is what is effusion is all about. Yeah. So this is a small aperture. You can say aperture. Aperture means a small hole. Agreed. This is effusion. And diffusion is something, so in the open space, the gases can diffuse. For example, if you take here, if you take here a vessel, okay, And now here what I do, you can do one thing. So I'll draw in a different way. I'll give another example. For example, if you take here vessel A and connect it to another one. Now here you have a gas A and here gas B is there. Now when you open this nozzle, what happens? A and B gets mixed. A and B gets mixed. So there is a diffusion. There is a diffusion or effusion or an effusion. Try to understand. So I hope you are very clear about the basics of the properties of gases. Now, so let us now, how do you measure? Particularly, see, we are discussing in the first year the gaseous state, and second year we are going to discuss about the solution state as well as solid state. That is the first chapter. Solid state is the first chapter in the second year. Well, what are some of the properties? So, see, you know very well. For example, there is a gas in this system. There is a gas in this system. Okay. So definitely, if there is a gas, and how the gas is measured, it should be measured in terms of some parameters. What are the parameters? Pressure, volume, temperature, and number of moles. Very, very important. So let us understand first of all the pressure measurement, followed by the rest of the parameters. Now, what is this pressure is all about? You know very well how the pressure is built. Very simple. For example, you have a vessel this way. I'll take a white background. Yeah. Now you have a vessel this way. Now there is the gas molecules in it. Yeah, gas molecules in it. Yeah. Of course, I'll teach you how the pressure is measured in this system. That the next part. Now, how the pressure is built? It's very simple. This molecule is hitting the walls of the container this way. The walls of the container this way. See, these molecules are hitting the walls of the container. It is also hitting other molecules. So, the pressure is nothing but. Okay. So the molecules hit the walls of the container. This is what is pressure is all about. That is nothing but. So what is pressure? Pressure is equal to force per unit area. Force per unit area is called pressure. This is how the pressure is basically defined. Agreed or not? Yeah, you can see here in this diagram basically. So you can observe how these molecules are hitting the walls and generating some pressure. Well, this pressure can be measured in atmosphere units, millimeters, torr and Pascal. So there is a need to understand or making an attempt to understand the conversions. Very, very important. Most of the students, they take it for granted and naturally they fall into the trap of unit conversion. Sometimes examiner will give a small, he keep a small landmine in the form of conversion of units and you ignore. So try to understand, students. So 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 mm of Hg pressure. That is equal to 760. 1 mm is equal to 760 torr. 1 torr is equal to 1 by 760 mm. Try to understand. And naturally, 1 atmosphere is equal to 101.326 kilopascals or 101.326 pascals. Similarly, 1 atmosphere is equal to roughly 1 bar. So, and 14.7 psi. So, pounds per square inch. That is what is. So, these conversions you are expected to memorize and practice and apply in the numericals. Now, what you have learned so far, what is the pressure? How pressure is built? Because pressure is due to the bombardment of the molecules So with the walls of the container. And how the pressure is measured in terms of atmosphere, torr, Newton per meter square, that is Pascal, kilopascal, bar, psi, etc. Well, now how pressure is measured? You require some instrument. So Torricelli, you know very well, he is a wonderful scientist. He is the one who started an attempt to measure the pressure. See, try to understand, students. There are two types of measurement. One is atmospheric pressure measurement. The other one is gaseous pressure measurement. Students, mind you, atmospheric pressure is measured by a meter known as barometer. What is it? Barometer. Whereas the pressure of the gases is measured by using manometer. What is it? Manometer. So this is the fundamental difference between the pressure measurement of atmospheric pressure and various gaseous pressures. Students, have a look. Have a look here. Now, we are discussing about now barometer. Barometer means atmospheric pressure measurement. Atmospheric pressure measurement. Very simple. Torricelli is a scientist. So he has closed, this tube is closed here, mind you. There is a difference because atmospheric pressure is measured by closed tube, whereas the pressure of the gases is an open tube measurement. So I want to basically the distinguishing function I have to explain for you. Well, now here you take a vessel having some water, having some mercury here. This is a mercury, very important. Mercury important. See, try to understand why Torricelli has chosen mercury. Why not? We have a lot of liquids. Why not other liquids? Very simple. Mercury is having high density, so that for example, if you take water, your column should be very high. A 20-meter column you should take. Simply, if you take, because 13.6 density of mercury is 13.6 gram per centimeter cube. Try to understand, students. That is the reason why mercury is chosen. And try to understand, students. This air, what happens? It is going to push. Air is going to push this way, and mercury level will raise. And when it raises, they measured it is 760 mm, or it is 76 centimeters. How much? 76 centimeters. You can see here. So here the air pressure. Air means what? Atmospheric pressure. It is acting this way. Agreed or not? So then what happens? Mercury level will shoot. Mercury level will shoot. Naturally, they measured it. It is how much? 760 mm. So 1 atmosphere is equal to how much? 760 mm pressure and 76 centimeters of mercury. You should write of mercury. It may be water, or it may be a bromine, or it may be some other liquid. So it is always 760. I hope you understood, students. So this is how the pressure is measured. You know very well, pressure means force per unit area, and you know how it is measured. So students, what is this G? Acceleration due to gravity. Mind you, go back and see, there is acceleration due to gravity here. Okay, that is G, acceleration due to gravity. H is the height of the column, and D is the density of the liquid. What is the density of the liquid? Mercury. So pressure is equal to HdG. Pressure is equal to HdG. Now you should explain why pressure is equal to HdG. So help me. You should help me how pressure is measured as HdG. Can anybody explain? So think of how you are getting this equation. So think of. So you know very well, pressure is equal to force per unit area. You can write this as mg by A. Agreed? So think of, you'll be getting the answer why it is HdG. Now students, as G is acceleration due to gravity, H is the height of the liquid column. It may be any liquid. So, but in this case we have taken mercury. So D is the density. This is how it is measured. So now if it is measured, how they found 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 torr or 760 mm of Hg. Similarly, 101,325 kilopascals, 101.325 kilopascals, 101,325 pascals. Similarly, 101,325 bar. So I hope you understood. So density is already conveyed to you, 13.6 gram per centimeter cube, and acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second square. This is how the atmospheric pressure is measured. Now, let us see, students, how you measure the gas pressure. How you measure the gas pressure. So, now I don't want to confuse you here. Let us concentrate on the case 1. Case 1. Now, in the case 1, what is done here? If you want, I can explain in another slide also. Now, it is done this way. Yeah. Now, students, have a look here. Now, what happened? This is attached to this part. This part is attached to a gas. Agree or not? This left wing is attached to a gas. This, for example, this is gas A. Agreed. Now, students, here what is kept here in this? What is kept? Mercury is kept. What is kept? Mercury is kept here. Students, try to understand. Here it is open. One side it is open, other side it is closed. So what is operating here? This is called atmospheric pressure. What is it? Atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. So I do one thing. I'll write in a different way. So shortcut. P atmosphere. P atmosphere. Okay. What is this pressure? This is called P gas. This is called P gas. Okay. So here, is there any difference in the height? No, there is no difference. That's why here pressure of the gas is equal to atmospheric pressure. Case 1. Case 1 is pressure of the gas is equal to atmospheric pressure in the first case. Okay, because height is same in both cases. Understood? If you go back and see, case 1 is considered. So pressure of the gas is equal to atmospheric pressure. Now, case 2. Let us discuss case 2. Now, again, I'll redraw for your sake. Yeah. Now, again, attached to a gas of your choice. This is a gas, student. Now, in this case, what I am doing is, now here gas pressure is greater. Gas pressure is greater. So this is P gas. So this is P atmosphere. And now this is called, what is this called? H, height of the column. It is called height of the column. I hope you understood. Right. Now, students, in this case, you can see P gas is greater than P atmosphere. P atmosphere. Now, the pressure of the gas is greater than pressure of the atmosphere. This is the case 2. Have a look. Case 2. This is case 2. Now, case 3. Now, students, now in the case 2, what I am going to explain, have a look here. Now, I mean to say this is pressure of the Hg, pressure of Hg. Now, you can write like this. Now, I will wipe it off and I will explain another way. Okay. This is the pressure of students, have a look. Have a look, please. See. This is acting downwards. This is also acting downwards. So pressure of the gas is equal to pressure of atmosphere plus pressure of Hg in this case. Pressure of the gas is equal to pressure of atmosphere plus pressure of Hg. I hope you understood. Am I clear? Yeah. Now, next case. Let us see the next case. Case 3. Case 3 is considered as follows. Now, let us connect to again another gaseous system. Now, in this case, what happens? Atmospheric pressure is greater. This is P gas. P gas. This is P atmosphere. Okay. This is PHG. PHG. Now, these are also acting up. So, now here, P, listen carefully. So, P gas is equal to P atmosphere minus PHG. Or you can write pressure atmosphere is equal to pressure of the gas plus pressure of P atmosphere is equal to pressure of mercury. Pressure of mercury. You can also write like this. Do you agree or not? Yeah. So this is pressure of Hg. So this is how when atmospheric pressure is greater. Here what is greater? Atmospheric pressure is greater. So atmospheric pressure is equal to pressure of the gas plus pressure of mercury. Pressure of mercury. Try to understand, students. So this is how you can come to three cases, conclusion of three cases here. So here P atmosphere is greater than P gas. Here P gas is greater than P atmosphere. This is case 3. Now we are going to solve some numericals in the next session. Now let us move on. So this is what exactly happens. So first case is P gas is equal to P atmosphere. Both levels are same. Okay. In the second case, what happened? So here, so gas is more. Here gas is acting downwards, right? Yeah, it is acting downwards. Now you can see here P gas is greater than here P atmosphere. Now here atmosphere is greater than P gas. Now let us take the next session. So this is what exactly is. So when gas pressure is greater, it is anyhow. This I explained. So gas pressure is less than barometric pressure. So barometric pressure means atmospheric pressure. Okay. So this is all about the measurement. So now we can solve one question here. Students, have a look. Now in this case, what happened? P gas is greater than P atmosphere. You can see here. Now naturally what you have to use the formula? P gas is equal to P atmosphere plus H. Okay. Now 762 mm plus height, how much is given? 15 mm. It comes out to be 777 mm. Agreed or not? So we have to use this formula when it is greater than air, because P gas is greater than barometric pressure. Now if you see the second slide here, this time P atmosphere is greater than P gas. Now what is the formula? P gas is equal to P atmosphere minus P Hg or H. So 750 minus 130. This is 750 is given here. 750 he is not given. So he has given here. Atmosphere is P 750 minus H, you get 620 mm. Now, so I hope you understood. So this is how you should apply the manometer principles in calculating the pressure of gases. Now, so these are the substance like, so the conversions. So 1 atmosphere 760 mm is equal to 1 atmosphere. So 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 torr. Agreed. Similarly 14.7 psi. Similarly 101.325 kilopascals, 101.325 pascals, and it is equal to roughly 1 bar. So these conversions you are expected to remember and apply. Now in the measurement of gases, you have completed one parameter, that is pressure. What is the another parameter, students? That is temperature. So you know very well, particularly in gaseous state, we don't use Celsius, degree centigrade we don't use. We use Kelvin basically, that is the SI unit. So naturally, if the temperature is 27 degrees centigrade, so how to convert into Kelvin? So 27 plus 273, that is equal to 300 Kelvin. So you have to add 270, that's what it is given, plus 273. If you want to convert Kelvin to centigrade, you have to do minus 273. For example, I give 273 Kelvin, that means it is 0 degree centigrade, that is the meaning, minus 273. I hope you are clear. For example, if I give here 400 degrees centigrade, what does it mean? It is equal to 673 Kelvin, because plus 273 you have to add. I hope you understood. This is how you have to basically take care of the conversions. Now students, have a look. So how to convert into Fahrenheit? You know very well. So Celsius is equal to F minus 32 into 5 by 9. You have to remember. So C is equal to F minus 32 into, or you can write by 9 into 5. I hope you understood. You remember this. Okay. Now, so this is how if you take for example 100 degrees centigrade, that is equal to 373 Kelvin, because plus 273 you have to add. Fahrenheit is 212 Fahrenheit. Similarly, this is basically freezing point temperature, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 0 degrees, this is 273 Kelvin. I hope you are very clear with the basic conversions of different scales of temperature, that is Fahrenheit, Celsius scale and Kelvin scale. Now, so this is called standard temperature and pressure, very very important. So STP condition, what is it? STP condition means 0 degrees. So 0 degree 273 Kelvin, 1 atmosphere pressure, or 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 mm and 760 torr. Now let us see the volume measurement. So you all aware volume measurement is nothing but, so 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 ml. Okay, 1 liter is equal to how much? 1000 ml. You know very well. Okay, so it is also dm cubed, 1 decimeter cubed, very very important. This is very very 1 liter is equal to 1 decimeter cube. See, 1 meter cubed is equal to 1000 liters. Similarly, you can see here I have given 1 liter is equal to 1 dm cube, decimeter cube. 1 ml is equal to 1 centimeter cube. So 1 microliter is equal to 1 mm cubed. So these are the some of the conversions which you are expected to know. Now in today's class, I have basically spanned all the basics associated with gaseous state. In the next session, you are getting into the core of gaseous state, and you are going to learn some gas laws, that is Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law, Dalton's law, Avogadro's law, and so on. Yeah. So I hope so you revise these conversions so we can apply in the numericals. Thanks for bearing. Have a good day.